This week, Jess and the girls go sledding, Dan hits Hollywood, and we discuss the most popular chips in America and the world. All this and more on this week's episode of the CC Mouse Podcast. Brotato chip. Welcome to this week's episode of the CC Mouse Podcast. We are good for your ears. I am Dan, and you can find me at RFS Dan.
And I'm Jess, and you can find me at Snow Dogs Vlogs and Gone to the Snow Dogs.
Although we had an episode last week, we recorded it right when Star Wars came out, so it feels like I haven't got to talk to you on here in a few weeks.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same way. I'm like, this is a little strange.
Yeah. When I was looking at the notes of stuff that we share, I noticed that some of these things were outdated. Like, oh, we're going to talk about Ricky Gervais. And, nope, that was 2 weeks ago. Everybody's at home's like, Ricky who? Yeah, exactly. So
right?
Yeah, it feels like it's been ages. What's been going on with you? How's the weather there?
Well, I'm getting over a cold, so that's been great. The weather, we just got... I don't actually know how much snow we got or the official snowfall, but we probably got at least 10 inches of snow within the last 24 hours.
Dang, that's so much snow.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. It makes me happy. The dogs are happy. It's like white outside. I love it.
Good. I'm glad it makes you happy because you're no fun when you're sick.
Yeah, I don't even know. Like, I felt fine, and I was out doing stuff, and I came home, and it was like, I don't really feel that great. And then it went from I don't really feel that great to, oh my gosh, what is this and why do I feel like this? And then I was like really, really sick for a full day, didn't feel that great for 2 days. And then yesterday I felt really good in the morning, but I think I overdid it because by last night I was like, no, this isn't coming back. There's no way this is coming back.
You're just zapped. So everybody has a favorite go-to medicine. Everybody will, you always get told by someone else to take this, to take that, take emergency, take Z-Quil or P-Quil.
Right.
What's your go-to medicine?
I do the Zicam, which is the stuff that shortens a cold, and it works. It does work. And then, like, for actual cold medicine, I always take Mucinex.
You love that Mucinex.
It used to be Sudafed. We used to take Sudafed before they got rid of the pseudoephedrine that is in it.
Yes, I remember that.
That was like the best cold medicine on the market. And then for some reason, people were like, this drug isn't druggy enough. Let's turn this drug into more drugs. And then they made it so people couldn't get it anymore.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that one worked really good. But now I usually do Mucinex. And I'm not a big fan of cold medicine. I don't think anybody's a big fan of cold medicine. But like, I really don't like taking it. So I always take half of the recommended dose, and then it's like you can take it every 4 hours. I'm like, maybe I can stretch this to 6 hours because I don't like the way it tastes. I don't like the way it makes me feel. Sometimes I feel like it's the medicine that makes me feel cloudy. So when I have to take cold medicine, it's real.
Right. I'm a Theraflu person. I really love Theraflu. It shuts my brain off. I can sit there and just be a zombie, and I get these crazy Theraflu dreams. Oh my gosh, what was I doing? I was like, I had a jetpack on in space, and I was hopping from these little islands, kind of like that Jumanji in space movie. And like, it was so crazy. Yeah, so I have crazy Theraflu dreams. I like medicine. God. Well, I used to, oh my gosh. Okay, so I always thought until recently that medicine made you not be sick anymore. So I'm like, I'm just gonna take a bunch of medicine, and like I'm fighting off like the magic school bus. Like I'm fighting off the red cells and the white cells and the germs and stuff. I didn't realize it just masks your pain.
Yep. You thought it was actually curing you, or
yeah,
no, in fact, all it is like aspirin and a combination of a bunch of other things, and it makes your nose stop dripping and your throat stop hurting, but as soon as it wears off, you're back to feeling the exact same way.
Yeah.
No. The biggest thing is when you're sick, like, I mean, everybody tells you the same thing. Lots of fluids. That's just flush it through your system.
I like sleeping. I try to sleep it off.
Yes, and not overdoing it. And that's the problem I have. Like, the moment I start to feel a little bit better, I get excited and I'm like, oh, I got an idea. Let's take the dogs out sledding, even though I feel horrible, but I feel good enough to do this. So we did. We took the dogs out. We took the dogs out sledding a couple of times, but the one day we did it, like, I got up in the morning and I'm like, I have to take the dogs out. We have snow and I really want to take them. And Jamie and I kind of had the conversation of, do you feel good enough to stand on the sled through the middle of the woods? And I'm like, it's a short run and we'll make it. And yeah, we took the dogs out dog sledding, and by the time I got home, that was it. I'm like, nope, nothing else is happening today. I am done.
How's the dog sledding? Do you guys have like a dog sled park? Like you go to this place where it's like, here's where you can just run like a quarter mile, like a hot rod?
I wish. That would be amazing.
Where do you go? I mean, I know we went out into the forest, but like, where do you go?
Where we took you is the same spot we go. There's a place not far from our house. It's probably, I don't know, it takes us 10 minutes to get there maybe. It's funny because we drive 10 minutes to run for like 7 minutes to drive home for 10 minutes, which just cracks me up. Once Kira's older, we'll be able to run for longer, but it's actually a snowmobile trail. Mm-hmm. So it's groomed and it's packed down, and then when the snowmobiles go over it, they pack it down even more. So it's really a nice place to go. And the nice part about it is Jamie drops me off at one end, and then I run through the woods with the dogs, and there's a spot where the snowmobile trail crosses the road, and then we go through the woods, and then it crosses the road again. So he drops me off at the road crossing, and then he gets me all set up and sets me off, and then he gets back in the Jeep, and then he drives around to where it comes out on the road, and that's where we come out at.
Oh, okay. And then you just turn around.
Yeah. Yep. And then we usually, normally we would either, turn around or keep going or run it a few times, just that little stretch back and forth a few times. But because Kira's so young, she can't run for very far. So we usually have just been running like that short little bit and then going back home because we don't want to get her any injuries this young. She's only 10 months old. So
that's right. I forget. And she looks so big. Is she fast?
She's so fast. I put up a video on the Gone to the Snow Dogs channel of them running, which was actually multiple days we took the video. It wasn't all taken at one time. Because we couldn't run her. We couldn't run her a whole bunch of times, so we actually did it over multiple days and got a bunch of footage and then put it together and made one video, which turned out really cute.
It was really good.
Yeah, if you guys want to see Kira pulling the sled, it was pretty fun. She's very fast. She wants to pull the line very tight. She keeps up with Memphis without an issue. They run next to each other. Memphis absolutely loves running too, so it's like the greatest thing for both of them is just to get out there and just go. And that's pretty much what they do. We get out there and man, they just haul. They just go.
Is it the fastest you've gone? Like, are they at top speed for how comfortable you feel on there?
They're pretty quick. I mean, Memphis and Shelby were probably running two dogs because, I've run 4 dogs on a sled before, but running 2 dogs, Memphis and Shelby were always really fast at the start. But neither of them would run for very long. They'll run at a top speed right when they get started, and then they kind of slow to a trot, which is what Huskies are designed to do. They're stamina runners. They're distance runners, not fast runners. Mm-hmm. So their goal isn't to run super, super fast for the whole thing. Their goal is to take off fast and then get to their regular speed and then just trot the rest of the way. But they're fast. Like I'm surprised. I'm used to Memphis and Shelby running, and Kira and Memphis are pretty good together. They run really well together. They seem to get in sync pretty quick. Kira tries to pull off trail. She's just a baby. She doesn't know yet. But Memphis keeps her in line. Memphis doesn't let her get off the trail. Like, they don't take off into the woods. Memphis is like, nope, Mom said trail. We got to be on the trail. This is where we're going. So it works out pretty good. I'm really glad that she's catching on so fast. I mean, most Huskies do, but I'm just really glad that it hasn't been a big, like, oh my gosh, this dog can't do this. No, she definitely has it in her blood. She knows what running is.
Is there like a sport where you can do like a rec league where you can sign up? Or is there illegal dog sledding races like on Saturday night? There should be a movie like Fast and the Furious, and it's Saturday night and you guys meet out at the trail and you guys are racing for dog pink slips.
You mean like the Iditarod? No.
Yeah, but pink slips for the dogs, and that'd be so
for the
crazy.
Dogs. If I win, I get your dogs. If I win, I get your sled. That would be hilarious.
Ja Rule would be in it. It'd be amazing.
I can't even imagine dog drag sled racing. It sounds like it'd be such a disaster. You'd have one team like, ooh, I want to play with them.
That would be so cool. But is there anything like that? Like, is there any like rec league where you guys go and show up and everybody kind of sloshes around or sleds around?
There's Mid-Union Sled Haulers, which is, they call it MUSH, Mid-Union Sled Haulers, which is a group that's pretty much in Michigan and a couple of the surrounding states. And then there's, I think, Great Lakes Sled Dog Racing Association, GLSDA is what they call it. That's another one that's around here. It's sad. There used to be like 10 to 12 a year in different locations throughout Michigan, between Upper and Lower Michigan. And now I think this year they only have 4 scheduled races, and of those 4, I think 2 of them are at the same spot. So there's like the race is there, and then it's at a different location, and then back at the first location. It's sad. People, it's costly, and then it's not just that. I mean, it's also, there are people out there that really think dog sledding is cruel, and they scare people away from being public about being a part of the sport, which is sad.
Oh, I didn't know there was some shaming going on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there are people out there that think it's they think it's cruel, you know. And I'm not saying that there aren't bad dog mushers, but there's just bad dog owners in general. And you can't say just because there's bad dog owners that all dog owners are bad. And, you know, it seems to be in some sports, that's just the way it is. Canada right now is trying to abolish dog sledding. You know, they've tried to abolish the Iditarod. Yeah, there's a lot of politics and drama behind it.
I think in today's climate, they might be able to do that. What else has been going on there? Why are people falling through your ice? Have you ever fallen through the ice? How do you fall through the ice? Isn't that just swimming? How come when I jump into a pool, I'm not like, oh, I fell into the water? Like, what is going on there?
We've had a couple trucks go through not far from us, snowmobiles, side-by-sides, four-wheelers, a person, just a single person, went through the ice. They have to use an airboat to save people because the ice is so thin. We've had a very mild winter. Like, yeah, we just got a whole bunch of snow, but even at that, it's not cold. It's still in the 30s. So because the temperatures haven't dropped to, like, the teens, the ice on the lakes just isn't freezing well. And because of that, people are they want to go ice fishing. They want to go ride their sleds on the ice because that's what you do in the wintertime up here. So they get excited. And a lot of times on the weekend, what happens is the people from downstate, who, they don't have any snow down there, they come up north and they're like, all right, we're up north. They got snow. We're going sledding. But they don't bother to check the trail reports or the lake reports. So they don't know the thickness of the ice. And they go out there and they go through because they don't pay enough attention. They don't know enough to pay enough attention to not fall through the ice.
Oh, I'm scared about that because I know just enough about snow now after hanging out with you to be dangerous, and I would fall through. I would fall through.
The thing that people don't realize is no matter what you think, ice is never safe, and it should never be treated as being safe. It's another one of those things in Mother Nature that you just have to respect. Ice is never safe. Now, that doesn't mean you can't go out on the ice. It just means you really need to pay attention and get informed before you do. Because there's places like the one lake that they were on. This guy was driving a truck on the lake and the ice was, I think they said it was 7 inches thick. To drive a full vehicle on the ice should be at least 20 to 24 inches thick.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you're on the ice and it's only like 7 to 8 inches thick, 7 to 8, I think it's what's the rule? I think is 6 to 10 inches, somewhere in there. If there's not open water on the lake and the lake is an average of 6 to 10 inches, you could ride a quad on it, like a four-wheeler, because they're fairly light. They don't weigh a lot. Snowmobiles, you can probably ride those on it. It's still kind of sketchy. It's not super thick ice, but you're pretty much can do it around then. So if you know that the ice is about that thick, but the problem is, like, we had a day the other day, it was 45 degrees. The ice isn't safe when it's 45 degrees for a full day and the sun's beating down on it. It doesn't matter if it was 6 inches thick or 8 inches thick yesterday. Now there's water that thawed on top of the ice and then it refreezes, so now you get bubbles, so the ice really isn't as thick as you think.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into actually being out on the ice, but these people want to go ice fishing, so they go out on the ice regardless.
Yeah, and what's up with that? Are you allowed to do that? Are you guys hopping fences or what? Like, how does one get out there?
You just go out there. There's launch points, boat launches. People go out on the ice. They walk out there, and I mean, I've gone ice fishing before. I've been out on the ice before. I've been on the ice in Jamie's Jeep. Like, we drove on a lake. We drove on a lake, and there was probably over 150 other cars on the same lake we were on.
Wait, what's it sound like out there? Is it just infinite cracking sounds?
No, it was a shallow lake up in the Upper Peninsula where we were. So the ice was ridiculously thick. I think it was like 26 inches thick when we were up there. It might even have been thicker than that in some spots. Not only were we driving on the lake, people actually had bonfires on the lake.
What?
Yeah, because you weren't going to melt through the ice. It was the beginning of February. It was either the end of January or the beginning of February, and it had been freezing cold for a long time. So the ice got nice and thick. You know, but you have to know the conditions. That's the big thing. You have to know the conditions, and you have to know no matter what, it still can't. It can't be trusted.
Well, do you like slide the Jeep around and stuff, and like do donuts and stuff out there because it's all slippery?
Oh yeah, you can.
Oh, that sounds kind of fun. What else do you do out there? Do you just dig the hole and go fish in the hole, or is there other stuff to do out there?
Usually a lot of people will drink beer, have a fire, and go fishing.
The fire thing on the ice baffles me.
Yeah, it did me too. That was actually the first time I'd ever seen it. That was quite a few years ago when we were up there, and I kept telling Jamie, I'm like, this just doesn't make sense to me. Like, you're just gonna melt a hole through the ice, but the ice is too thick. You'll
melt a hole in the ice. You're not gonna bring down the house.
You're not exactly.
So what happens when all your stuff falls to the bottom? Like, are you just out of luck? Like, oh, there's just your junk on the bottom of the ocean underneath ice now.
So, in the state of Michigan, when you drive out into the ice, be it in a quad, on a snowmobile, in your car, any of those things, as soon as you go out onto the lake, you no longer have car insurance.
Oh.
Yeah, so you're not covered. You're not covered if your car falls through the ice. You're not covered.
Okay.
Anything that happens to your car, you have to pay for. So if the car goes all the way through and goes to the bottom of the lake, they have to retrieve it because it's an environmental hazard. So you have to pay whatever it costs to get your vehicle out of the lake, be it your car or your four-wheeler or your snowmobile or whatever. You have to pay for all the recovery costs.
How do you get it out of the lake, though? Because, like, you have to wait till it melts, I think, and then, like...
Well, there's a lot of different ways to actually do it. Like, when it comes to a car, a lot of the times, if it's just through shallow water, they'll usually like hook up winches and they'll be able to just pull it, up out of the ice onto thicker ice and pull it out of the lake. If it's gone through in the middle of the lake or it's gone through where it's really, really deep, they actually usually wait until the ice freezes again. So it'll freeze over the hole where your car is, but they'll put markers there. So it'll freeze over where your car is. They'll put a bunch of markers. They'll wait till the ice is solid again around that area. And then they go out there and they take a chainsaw and they cut a great big hole in the ice.
Whoa.
And then I'm not kidding. Then they have to go down and a lot of times they'll use scuba divers with special gear, and they'll go down and they'll hook things up to your car, and then they'll use a crane. They'll use a crane, or they'll use like a Jeep with tracks on it, or a truck with like tank tracks on it. And they'll pull your vehicles out of the lake like that. And sometimes it's just easier to do it after the ice is refrozen, because when you bring another big vehicle out there to pull the vehicles out, I'll have to find a video of it. I actually watched a really cool video in Minnesota, out of Minnesota, where they did that. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to get cars out of the lake. When it's like snowmobiles and four-wheelers and things like that, it's a little bit easier. They can go down and hook up to just about anything and drag it out. Oh. But yeah, it's sometimes they have to use these big like crank things that they have to set up, and they have to lift them straight up because they're so far down. Yeah, it's really neat.
So have you been around any time where something's fallen through the ice, or like people have lost their cars and stuff?
I've never seen a car go through. I have seen a snowmobile hit a pressure crack and go flying through the air and throw the guy off the sled.
What?
So when the pressure cracks happen, the ice it's kind of, if you put I guess one way to look at it is if you take ice and make it in an ice tray, when you put the water in the ice tray, the water's level, but when you take the ice cubes out of the ice tray, the ice is bigger than the water that you put in there because it expands. The same thing happens on the lake. So the ice expands as it grows. And then there's times where the ice will just crack, and it will create this pressure crack where two pieces of ice and water kind of came together and it creates this big crack. These pressure cracks can actually shift. So they'll crack, and they can crack right across the center of the lake. And if you're standing there, or if you're out there when it happens, it's the craziest noise in the world. It's loud. It sounds like an explosion. You just hear bam, and it just echoes all across the lake. So anyway, when these pressure cracks happen, one of two things can happen. The ice pieces will shift. So they'll shift apart from each other. and then they'll shift back into each other, depending on the wind or the weather or any of those things. Well, if they shift back into each other hard enough, they'll actually form like a crack. I guess it would be kind of like what happens with earthquakes, when the land shifts together and then it shifts and it cracks. But what happens when the ice comes back together, it creates like a launching point. So if you're flying across the lake and there's a pressure crack that has resealed and kind of come back together, sometimes it's just a great big, comes together and you launch over it. Or if it's the opposite way, it'll look like the ice is fine, but then when you get to it, it's just barely ice over top of the water and you'll fall through. Oh, the guy that I saw fly off that snowmobile, it was insane. He probably flew 30 feet in the air. It was nuts. And we were standing on the shore going, is he all right? Is he okay? Is he going to get up? And then we kind of stood there and waited. We're like, if he doesn't get up, we got to go out there. And he managed to get up and he got back to his sled. But the only other thing I've ever experienced in person, which is a really hard thing to explain without my hands. So let me see if I could talk y'all through this. I used to go ice fishing. My dad was a big ice fisher. So when we were kids, we were on the ice a lot. And we lived in, the Detroit area. We were on the lake one time when big lake. So, the big lakes we have here, the Great Lakes. The ice shifted like a pressure crack. There was a piece of the ice and we were on a piece of the ice, and the waves and the wind, the ice shifted away from the shore. So the ice would shift out, and now where we're trying to get back onto shore, it's water.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. By how far?
Yeah.
Like 10, 20 feet or so?
It was quite a ways. So the ice shifts out, and then you kind of got to wait. Is it going to go back in? And then you kind of watch, and you start to shift back into shore, and as soon as you get close enough, you're like, okay, go now, jump.
Oh, my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah, but there's been incidents where that's happened. Like, there was an incident last year in Saginaw where a big piece of ice broke off of Saginaw Bay, and the people were stranded. And they had to go out there with airboats and helicopters and I think there was like 100 people on the ice that shifted out that they had to go save. So yeah, the lesson of the day, kids, is ice is never safe.
But sounds kind of fun.
It is fun. Like, it's fun, and it's, life isn't safe. Nothing in life is safe. So, of course, people are going to go do it. But the biggest thing is read the reports. If you're going to go out on the lake, read the ice reports. Check the ice thickness. Don't be stupid. Don't drive your car on the ice.
Right. I was good until you told me about these, like, random pressure cracks, and now I don't want to be blown to smithereens.
Pressure cracks are so crazy. It's so interesting when it starts to get warm and the lake isn't really thick to go sit out there and listen, and it just pew, and you hear it echo across the lake, and it's a crack. It's the craziest noise. My dad tells a story about one time him and my grandpa, his dad, were ice fishing. And they were sitting there ice fishing, and they were, a couple feet away from each other, and they heard the crack and the shift, and the lake shifted so much that my dad was 5 feet above my grandpa on the ice. They literally were where the pressure crack happened, and the ice lifted and shifted all the way up because it cracked and released.
Yep, I take it back. I don't want to go on the ice anymore. Go ahead and stay on the ground.
Ground's probably safer. I don't know, though. There's a lot of ice in my driveway right now.
So, Jess, last week I went to Hollywood
Hollywood.
To go to the Funko factory. What do you call that? Just a Funko shop? Because it's not the headquarters, but it's like one of their like approved retailers.
So it's probably just a Funko shop.
Was
it
like
on Hollywood and Vine?
No. Was it? No, I don't. I think Vine was down more.
That was just a silly joke.
Why do you know Hollywood and Vine?
It's in a song. No, I think it's just a Funko shop.
Yeah.
What does it say on it? Doesn't it just say Funko?
It just says Funko on it. It's like, dude, you guys know what it is. It's just like Pepsi. Like, you just know what it is. So I get to Hollywood. I'm excited to see this place. It opened maybe like November of last year. They had a big grand opening of it. And it is right on Hollywood Boulevard where the Walk of Fame is, where the Chinese Theater is, the Ripley's Believe It or Not place, and the Wax Museum that actually is just, I don't know, every time I see the Wax Museum people in there, it's just like a future wax figure of what you're really going to look like in 20 years. Because all the people that were wax figures were creepy 20 years ago, the actors that they portrayed, and now they look just like them. No, do you think at the wax museum there's like a secret wick on the back just in case they have to like get rid of him? Like, oh, we're done with this guy. Let's like just go ahead and light the candle. I would ask for a wick in mine. Would you be pretty stoked if you had a wax statue made of you, or is that kind of creepy?
I don't think I'd want one made of me. They could make some of my dogs though. That would be cool.
Would it look good? Because I feel like they're just
probably not. They'd be like cartoon versions.
I don't know if modern technology's like upgraded the creepiness of wax figures.
Yeah, no. Why is it such a thing?
I don't know who started that. The 70s, maybe?
Yeah, probably. Somebody looked that up. Somebody look that up and come into the group and tell us.
Some guy had like an organic wax farm and was just like, what are we going to do with all this wax?
Right. Our candles aren't selling. Turn it into something else.
Turn it into people. So I walked around Hollywood for a little bit. It was pretty awesome. It's just like how you thought it would be. But it was a little bit more empty this time because it was January and all the touristy stuff's gone. Everybody's back to work. Everybody's back in their country. So it was pretty mellow though. So I get to this place. It's beautiful. It is huge. I don't even know how many square feet it is, but it is big. So you walk into this place and there's like a big waterfall there and stuff. And all the people are super nice. And they don't have like regular Funko Pop figs there. They have only like themed ones and like IP ones. Like there was this like Marvel room where there was like Guardians of the Galaxy stuff, and then there was like all the Marvel Pop figs. Right. And all those Pop guys, they have like real life. You know, that the whole point of going there is that you can see the life size Pop figs. Right. And there was a lot of them. There was probably 100 of them in there. Everybody had their little land with their music. It was very, very loud in there. Very, very loud in there. But see, I was hoping. Cool.
I was hoping that they would have like store exclusive stuff.
I didn't see much of that at all.
Yeah, see, that's what I would be hoping for. Like, here, you can only get this at the Funko in Hollywood. Like, here's this Nightmare Before Christmas. You can only get it here. Like, I thought that would be cool. Yeah, and maybe they do. Maybe just because they're new. Maybe they don't yet.
I don't know, because I called you on video chat so you could see if there was anything that you didn't have, but you had everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see too much for exclusivity there. I did see that they were trying to push, like, there's like the Funko guy. I think it's Freddy. I think it's Funko Freddy. So he's dressed up every which way. And I did see some sort of limited edition stickers on there where he had like a cape on or something like that. But I didn't see anything special. And there was no regular ones. There was no like Husky ones there. Or there was no just like regular non-IP Funko figs there. But it was cool. There was a little Jurassic Park land. Plenty of photo ops. Oh my gosh, everything was a place for you to sit down and take photos. And the employees there must have been 25 employees in there. So there was plenty of people to take pictures for you.
And is it free?
It's free, yeah. It's a retail store. They want you to go in there and buy stuff. So it's free. I mean, parking wasn't free, but but it was free. It was free to go in there. So the people were cool. I made a video when I was down there, and a lot of the footage I took was from the help of the employees.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and the employees were super happy. They looked like they loved their job. I think in the video I even interviewed one of the guys there, and he was super stoked on his job. I'm like, this is super cool. They had a Game of Thrones set. I got to sit on one of the dragons. I tried to find something that I wanted though. Like I really wanted like a Kevin Smith like Funko fig or a Stan Lee, but they didn't have anything like that there. So I ended up, after the whole time I went in there, I was in there for an hour or two. There was nothing that I could justify buying. Like I haven't seen Harry Potter really, so I didn't want any Potter figs, and so I didn't get anything. And I don't know what I'm gonna do with them. I have like 3 Pop figs here, and that's good enough. I have some hockey players.
You got a memory though.
It was so fun. Oh my gosh, it was so fun. And I was talking to some of the people there. Oh, some of them asked if I was a YouTuber, and they wanted my card. I thought that was kind of cool.
So. Yeah, so those of you listening, Dan did do a video on this. It's it's on Podbean in the little links.
Yes, you can go watch it. It's fun. It was hard to do any of the audio there just because it was so loud in there. But it is great. If you go down to Hollywood, you gotta make a trip to there, and it's at the end too. It's at the not crowded place, and there's parking right below it. And yeah, it was really, really cool. It's like I said, it's free, and it felt like a mini theme park. There was a Disneyland area in there, and I felt like I was in Disneyland. I really enjoyed it, so much so that when I went home, I was excited about the video. I edited the video. And then I went to the Funko's website, and they were hiring there, and I put in an application, and I sent them the video, and I'm like, you guys, like, I love it here. Like, could I work there? And so hopefully,
could I have a job?
Hopefully they see it, and they would they would want me to work there. All the employees were cool with me. Like, I had a good time there.
You should follow up on it and be like, hey, remember last week when I asked if I could have a job? Can I have a job?
I should, yeah. How about now? Can I have a job now? But it was so awesome. Now? So definitely go down there. Definitely check it out. Go check out my video. Like, you can see just how cool it was in there. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. Do you have any of those figures? I think you do.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I have a lot of the Nightmare Before Christmas ones. There are some exclusive Nightmare Before Christmas ones that I'm missing, but I have a lot of them. And then I have quite a few Star Wars ones because I was a subscriber to the Smuggler's Bounty Box when that started. Mm-hmm. So I have some exclusive Star Wars ones. Like I have the Land Speeder, and I have I have the bigger size ones. I have a Tauntaun, which is probably my favorite one.
That's cool.
It's my Tauntaun. So I have a Tauntaun and I have a Land Speeder, and those are like bigger sized ones. And then I have a whole bunch of Star Wars ones, and then I have all of the ones from the show Gotham and all of the ones from the show Once Upon a Time. And I have a Husky.
Do you have any Dark Crystal ones?
Oh, yeah. I have all of the Dark Crystal ones that they've released so far. I don't think there's any exclusive ones out yet. I'm going to have to check again. But I have the first few Dark Crystal ones that they released, and then I have the ones that they released for Age of Resistance.
Dang, so you have a ton of those.
Yeah, probably more than I need.
Yeah, I have like two. So I had my fill of them, but it was so cool there.
The Star Wars ones, like, I got because I was subscribed to the Smuggler's Bounty Box. Like, that's really why I got those. And there's only a couple of them that I would actually keep. The rest of them I could easily just give away or sell or whatever. None of them, some of the ones I have are worth stuff, but most of them I just have because they came in the box.
That's cool. So after I left there, of course I'm going to walk up Hollywood for a little bit, and I was staring at all the different, like, stars and celebrities in the Walk of Fame, and I didn't recognize too many people on there. I mean, I guess there's a lot of sidewalk to cover, but like,
were you in old school Hollywood?
I don't know. It seemed to be because I saw like Betty White and like Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn and like Cisco and Usher, but like I didn't see anybody. Like I didn't see any Avengers or like Robert Downey Jr.'s or anything.
Right.
How much do you think it costs to get a star on the Walk of Fame? Because there was a lot of blank ones there.
Ooh, I could get a star on the Walk of Fame?
You can, because you have to pay for it. That's the thing. After you apply for it and they approve you, you have to pay for it.
That's ridiculous.
And you have to pay for the upkeep.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a
Can I pay you to upkeep it?
You could send me over there, and I would put an umpire's outfit on, and I'd go and stand over it and pull out the little brush and just swoosh it off like it's home plate, and then I'd put it back in my pocket, and I'd stand up and go play ball, and then I would just walk away.
Do they let dogs? Do they let dogs have it?
I don't know. I think either Benji or Lassie has one.
I was gonna say, does Lassie have one, or Rin Tin Tin, or Beethoven?
Yeah, Beethoven should have one. Okay, Here we go. So Lassie, Rin Tin Tin, Strongheart, and Laika.
I don't know any. I only know a couple of them.
Oh, okay. That was the Soviet Union dog that got sent into space. Why does he have a... Does Lassie have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame? It is true! 3 amazing canines, Lassie, Rin Tin Tin, and Strongheart, have been honored the Walk of Fame. So
that's so cool.
So Benji got snuffed.
Wow.
Yeah, I heard he was a jerk to work with.
Never showed up on time.
No.
Ate too many treats.
Nope. So yeah, if you get approved, you could have a star on the Walk of Fame. But any idea how much that costs?
No, it's California, so it's going to be some ridiculously inflated price.
Yeah, but not too inflated, because I think Sinbad has one.
Oh, gosh. My guess is $10,000.
You're close.
Yeah?
It's $40,000.
That wasn't close.
Well, I mean, close in the fact that, like, you guessed money, and yes, it's money. But it's $40,000 for a star on the Walk of Fame. I wonder if you can get, like... I wonder if there's a brochure and you can be like, here's an upgrade. You can be like closer to the Chinese theater or something like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I guess
people destroy those stars and stuff. They're always getting dug up or smashed out or.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I would go there and I would like brush yours off all the time. They look really cool. I'd polish it.
I've never seen that.
You would like it. Next time you come out here, we have to go down there. It just depends on what experience you want. During the daytime, it's a lot of tourists. At nighttime, that's where the party people come out and all the crazies are out and stuff like that. It's kind of fun.
I don't know.
That's kind of fun. Your eyes would be very big, but then you'd be in my neck of the woods, so I would have to show you. I'd have to show you what it's like around my people.
All right.
Yeah.
Not falling through the ice.
Not falling through the ice. They'll try to sell you ice.
Right?
So, but yeah, you're not falling through the ice there. But it was cool. So I walked up and down there. I just didn't really see anything that really caught my eye. I will say though, I don't want to disillusion you guys. It is disgusting, dirty, and nasty down there. Please wash your hands if you're down there and you touch anything. You will be talked to by a lot of the locals down there, whether you like it or not. But most of them are all bark no bite. You know, they have to be there every day, so you can't really cause too much trouble down there. So it was cool. I had a good day down there, and hopefully Funko calls me back for a job.
Right. Maybe everybody should go to the website and say, hire Dan. No, don't do that.
Call the owner, Bill Funko, and be like, may I please speak to Bill Funko, please? And they're all like, you have to hire RFS Dan. He's like, RFS who? And they're like,
right?
And then you convince him to go to the YouTube page, and he watches it. And he's like, this is hilarity. And then they rename the place Danco.
That totally isn't going to happen.
But I need a Danco fig.
I mean, I'm sure you could get on Etsy and get one.
You know what? So at the Funko place, they had a build your own Funko there where they had all the bits and parts and stuff. But
Did they?
Yeah, but they needed a little bit more options.
They probably didn't have mohawks.
They did not. They said they were using the fins to put it on there. And there are mohawks. There's mohawk on Storm. There's mohawk on the Guardians of the Galaxy guy that Michael Rooker played. There's Zandu, I think his name is. So there are mohawks.
Wow, that's crazy.
I know, huh? So just the other day I was sitting there eating some potato chips. And I was wondering, what are the most popular potato chips in the world? Or in the country, for that matter. I'm like, what are people eating? Do I need to up my potato chip game? Because I feel like people back east have way cooler potato chips than us. My friends live in New Orleans, and they get these like Zappos chips, I think.
Oh, Zappos chips are so good.
Yeah, I've had a box sent to me before of like some New Orleans flavors, and it was amazing. Or when I was at your house, we had all dark chips.
Yes, rainbow chips, better made.
Yeah, and they're just like crispy and stuff. And I we get them out here and there, but it's not. Our chip game is not popping like your guys' chip game.
Your chip game sucks.
Yeah.
You know, it's really funny that you say that. When Jamie and I drove across country, one of my favorite things to do whenever we stopped to get gas was to go inside and see if they had local chips.
See, that's so cool.
Because I don't know, I like chips. So that was one of the things I always did. It was like, oh, we're in Washington. Do they have local chips? Is there something that's made here close that we can try? We tried a couple different things. We tried, I don't remember the names of them, but we tried quite a few different ones, and some of them were really good.
Yeah, that's what I like about chips. I don't think here in California we have much love for unique like chipness. What's your favorite chip?
I was gonna say you probably have like Lay's.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, we have a lot of mass-produced chips.
Oh gosh, my all-time favorite would actually drive 130 miles to get favorite is by far, I'm not kidding. When we go to the UP, I scour the gas station for these chips and I buy like as many as they have and I bring them home with me and I cherish them forever. And I try not to eat them because I don't want them to be gone. And I'm not even kidding. And I think I've said this in vlogs before. By far is the Dutch Crunch kettle cooked salt and vinegar chips.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
I know, but they're so good.
Are they?
They're so good. My favorite style of chips is kettle cooked. I like really crunchy chips. So my favorite style is kettle cooked chips.
Yes.
And my favorite is the salt and vinegar, Dutch Crunch, salt and vinegar, kettle cooked chips. Yeah, are my favorite.
Those are pretty good. I do like kettle cooked chips.
I like really crunchy chips, and they make really crunchy chips. Like locally, more local. I mean, I'm from Detroit, so you know what I'm going to say. It's like, I'm going to say it's going to be Better Made. I like Better Made rainbow chips, which are the dark chips that you had. Those are my favorite. Nobody else, like Jamie doesn't really like them, so I don't buy them very often because then I have a whole bag of chips and I can't eat a whole bag of chips before they go bad.
They were good, but they're not like even on my radar as far as like the best chips.
I really like them. I also like Better Made's barbecue chips a lot.
I love a good barbecue chip.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we got any of those while we were here. Better Made makes a barbecue, and then they make a flamin' hot barbecue.
Ooh, those are good too. I did raid your chip cupboard. It's not a cupboard. It's like that place down in the basement. There was like all those chips hanging out there, and you had some unique ones. We had soup chips.
Yeah, we had all kinds of weird ones.
Yeah, that was weird. When I was a kid, I liked Doritos. And then one day I was walking with my friend. We're probably like 16, 17. And we walk about a mile each way to the store. So we get there. It's hot out. I get a bag of Doritos. I get a 2-liter of Pepsi. Thanks, Max Headroom. I was really into Pepsi back then. And we walked all the way back to my friend's house. It was really hot outside. I was just powering down the Doritos. I was powering down the Pepsi. And then I puked all over the road. I didn't even break a stride. I just just puked a big Dorito ball and just kept going. Since then, I haven't really been much into the into the Doritos. I like flaming hot Cheetos.
I like the flaming hot Cheetos. I actually just, now that we're on the topic of chips, last night was game night here, and I always buy a bunch of different random chips, and I found Doritos just came out with a new flaming hot lemon.
Yes,
Doritos.
I've had those. Oh, not the Doritos.
They're Doritos. We just got them here, so they're actually really good. Like, we bought those last night. We all tried them, and we all really like them. So those are pretty good. For Doritos, I liked Salsa Verde. Was always my favorite flavor. The one they came out with it in the 90s, and then it went away for a while, and then it kind of made a comeback. They're really hard to find. I'm sure you guys have them out there where you're at, but on this side of the country, they're impossible to find.
I'll have to look for those. Do you remember back in the day when it was just Doritos or Cool Ranch? There wasn't like 400 different aggressive, extreme flavors.
Yep. And when Cool Ranch Doritos actually tasted good, and then they changed the flavor, and now I cannot stand them.
Yeah, I went through my Cool Ranch Dorito phase in those blue bags.
Yep.
I think the worst chip I probably ever had was one time I was at Kaiser. Like Kaiser, I don't know. You guys have Kaiser out there? Does everybody know what Kaiser is?
We don't have Kaiser.
It's like a doctor. Like it's like a mass. It's like a big corporate doctor. Like Kaiser's all over the place. It's just called Kaiser. And so I was sitting in the doctor's office, and I wanted some chips, and I think I asked my mom for some money, and I went to the vending machine, and I loved ketchup growing up. Oh my gosh, I still love ketchup, and I saw ketchup potato chips, and my eyes turned to hearts. I was like, give them to me. And I put the money in there, and the little thing couldn't wiggle around fast enough to drop out my chips. They came out of there. I opened them up, and the smell that came out of there, I think it made a noise when I opened the bag of chips. It was like haunted. I opened it up, and it went crunch, and it went, Hurrah. I was like, whoa, what just escaped the bag? Huh? Oh, well, no worries. And whatever essence of whatever was in there that escaped was all over the chips. And it was the most disgusting thing I have ever put in my mouth. They were disgusting. And I love ketchup so much, but ketchup chips were so gross. I was mad. I wanted to push over the machine. It was so disgusting. And to this day, I will never forget or forgive Kaiser for having ketchup chips.
So, okay, I'm gonna stop you right there. Now, I'm not Canadian, but I would like to say that I'm as close to Canada as, I'm closer to Canada than you.
Okay, fair.
Canada's a great neighbor. I love Canada. So I have had ketchup chips here in the States. And every time I've tried them here, I will agree. Here in the States, ketchup chips are disgusting. The Lay's ketchup chips, I've tried a couple different flavors. They're just bad. Now, you go to Canada, head over to Toronto, head over to wherever you want, cross the border and buy Lay's ketchup chips in Canada, and oh my God, they are the best. They're so different than any of the ketchup chips I've had. I will not eat ketchup chips in the States. They're just gross. And any true Canadian will agree with me. I have friends from Canada that agree with me that the ketchup chips here in the States are made differently than the ones in Canada. So we need to get you some real Canadian. I have a half a bag left upstairs, but I'm not sending it to you because I don't know when I'm going to Canada again. But the ketchup chips from Canada, the only way I can describe them is, and I don't think we had them when you were here. We had them at Christmas time, and I made everybody here try them, and they all thought they were amazing. They remind me of McDonald's French fries dunked in ketchup. Like they're ketchup chip. That's what they taste like. That's what they're supposed to taste like. That's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of dunking French fries in ketchup. And we're going to have to get you a bag and send it out there, and you're going to have to do a review of it on either YouTube or something. I promise to send you some ketchup chips. I'll find a way to we know some Canadians, I'm sure, that would send you some chips.
I would try it. Well, maybe the difference is maybe I had ketchup chips, and in Canada they have catsup.
some.
Yeah, that like generic ketchup or that different ketchup. So maybe that's what it is.
No,
maybe it's
I
the
can show you
Miracle
my.
Whip.
I can show you my
ketchup.
bag of Lay's ketchup chips. They look identical to the ones that you can get here in the States, but they are not the same. Whatever Lay's does in the U.S. is disgusting compared to whatever they do in Canada to make them amazing.
We need to dive more into this. Like, we need to do some more chip research. This is fascinating.
I'm not even kidding. The difference is unreal. And we tried a couple different brands. I think we tried, I want to say some type of choice. I don't know if it was President's Choice or People's Choice. There was a different brand that we tried when we were in Canada because I wanted to compare, and they were not as good as Lay's. And that's saying a lot. I don't like Lay's brand, but the Lay's ketchup chips in Canada, I'm telling you, you got to try them. It's got to happen.
I don't know. Okay, I'm willing. It's been a long time, so I'm willing to give it another go. So, in America, what do you think the most popular brand of chips is?
Brand?
Yeah,
Lay's.
like no, not wait. Excuse me, not brand. Like what? Like bag of chips. Like what's the most popular bag of chips on the shelf?
Barbecue.
No.
Ooh, wait, no, what? Wait. Can I guess again?
Yeah.
Ruffles.
No.
Dang it. Plain.
Right. So here's the deal. I looked up this
research.
research.
No, you're gonna say sour cream and onion, aren't you?
I am not gonna say sour cream and onion.
Okay, I'll let you talk now.
I looked up all 50 states to see what the most popular potato chip brand was, and in 45 of the states, including Alaska and Hawaii, they're Doritos.
Oh, so that type, not flavor, you mean like,
Yeah, there's like a bag of Doritos, like a red bag of Dorito.
Really?
Yes, but in California, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, all of them have one other one that's not Dorito.
Really?
And that's
Is it just...
It's Cheetos.
It's Cheetos? Really?
Yep. So between those two bags of chips, that is the most popular chips in the United States.
What about flavor?
It didn't really say flavor. Just the Doritos are the most desired ones, followed by Cheetos.
Wow.
I know, that's so crazy. And those are both owned by Frito-Lay. So Frito-Lay has got the market when it comes to America.
Yeah.
Outside of America, it's a different story. Just about 90% of every country, they have their own type of chip as far as like salty or pickle, but they all chips are different words on top of a Lay's logo.
Yes.
Yes. Lay's rules the world in chips.
I think in the UK it's Walkers.
But it's on the Lay's. Yeah, it's Walkers and it's over the...
But it's Lay's. Yeah,
it's over the Lay's font. So I thought that was crazy. Even in Egypt, it's Egyptian writing, which looks really cool, by the way. And it's still over the Lay's sunburst with that swirl.
I've had Walker's chips before.
Have you?
From the UK. Somebody sent us a box of a bunch of different chips from over there, so I've actually had chips, and they do taste different.
Well, and they call them crisps too, but the prawn cocktail ones. Oh my gosh, I've had those before. Okay, I've had the prawn ones before. That's their most popular flavor.
I've had those.
Yes, and those are interesting. I actually liked it. The first time I took a bite of it, I was like, "What is this?" But I remember finishing the bag.
Yeah. So
in Egypt, their crispy chips, chili and lime are the most popular there. They love that, but still, again, with the logo of Lay's.
That's so crazy.
Yes, I know. In India, they just straight up have Lay's there. But Magic Masala is there. Ooh, that would be so good. That is their go-to flavor. That would be really good. Indonesia, more Lay's. Rasa Madu Mentiago. I don't know. It looks like honey. It looks like almost like a cough drop on the bag.
Really?
On the bag. Right. So PepsiCo really owns the world when it comes to potato chips.
Yeah, I guess so.
I didn't realize that. Yeah. So I thought that was interesting.
That's very interesting. That is actually interesting. You know, Lay's did those like flavor things for a while where they were doing like the flavored chips. Do you remember that? Where it was like, oh, suggest a flavor and we might pick your flavor. Yes. And then they would do like 2 or 3 flavors or whatever.
I bought them all. I even did a video. I think I did reviews videos on them. I bought them all.
Yeah. We did a couple videos on them. The ones that stick out in my mind, like without looking them up, the ones that I remember were, I think there was I think it was fried green tomatoes that I liked, but I like fried green tomatoes. And then there was the, that stuff that they put on the gyros, the tzatziki sauce. I don't know how to say it.
I always have it's tzatziki sauce.
Tzatziki sauce. So like those are the two I can remember. I can't really remember any other ones off the top of my head. But those are the two I remember that I think I liked.
Oh,
Didn't they have like, because they had like a biscuits and gravy one, and I think that one was like, I think it was like good, and then I didn't like it, and it was like, no, I do like it. No, I don't like it.
Yes, those were okay as long as you didn't stop eating them, so you didn't get that weird aftertaste.
Aftertaste.
Yes,
yeah.
the aftertaste was so bad. There was a chicken and waffles. I remember chicken and waffles.
I liked those.
Yes, those were really good too. I really liked that. There was a sriracha one I remember having. Oh, truffle fries. Oh, I remember eating the truffle fries.
I didn't like that one. Nope, I didn't like. I remember that. I didn't like that one.
Yeah,
We used to do those taste test videos on the vlog. Like we would have Greg and I and Jamie, and we would sit down and we would do taste test videos. We did them with a couple different people, but whenever they would come out with them, we would like try to go find them, and then we would do taste test videos.
Me too. Oh, I remember the cheesy garlic bread. Yes. So I'm thinking
that one was
here,
good.
We might be able to. There's enough different chips. There's enough of you guys around the world. We might be able to have some sort of chip off, like some sort of chip review, some sort of chip taste test, because I'm looking at all these chips and there's so many of them that I think we could have a good time. We could
do it live on the podcast YouTube channel. Like they could send it all to my PO box, and then I could box it up and send it to you. Like split them up and send them to you.
That
and then
would
we could
be
do
perfect.
a live review on the CC Mouse podcast on YouTube. Oh my god, that'd be so fun.
The most audibly listenable episode ever.
We'd have to title it ASMR.
Oh, Lays SMR. Yes,
Lays SMR.
Yes, I'm good for it. I had the pickle one. The pickle ones were good.
I love pickle chips. There's a couple companies around here, local Michigan. Potatoes are a big thing here in Michigan, especially here where we live in Posen. Mm-hmm. Potatoes are a big thing around here, and I like pickle chips, but I like vinegar, which is weird. But I like vinegar, so I like that vinegary flavor to just about anything.
I do now that I'm older. I'm a fan of the vinegar.
I like pickled everything, pickled eggs, pickled pickles, pickled asparagus, pickled baby carrots.
You got me
corn.
Stuck on the pickle, and you'd be surprised the lack of pickled products we have here in California. Like I was going everywhere, and even like the specialty stores, I'd look and I'd be like, "Ooh, what's pickled in there?" Always the olives. Always the olives with the little like feta cheese in there, but never like okra or the asparagus or anything like that.
Okra.
I mean, I can get pickled pickles,
right?
But that's about it. So we don't really have a good pickle game out here. But I'm a little excited. I'm all wiggling around in my seat here. I need some like crazy strange like potato chip taste test.
We might have to post about it in the group and see what kind of, because I know we have friends in Canada that could send us Canadian chips.
Yeah, I need some poutine chips.
I want poutine so bad.
Oh, yeah. That would be so cool.
I have poutine gravy that somebody sent me. So all I have to do is go get the cheese curds and make some fries, and I can totally make it. And I debated on doing it today. If I felt better, I would do it today because it's a perfect day for it. It's so cold.
That would be kind of cool. What about, I want pepperoni flavored chips. Is there a pepperoni flavored chip?
They had those pizza marinara chips.
Oh, that's right, huh?
Uh-huh.
Do chicharrones count? You ever have chicharrones?
I don't know.
There's like the pigskins.
Oh, yes. I've had salt and vinegar of those too.
Wow. Let's wrap this up because I need to go to the cupboard and I need to get some chips.
Right? I think I'm hungry now.
I know. Nothing's worth so than a stale chip. Remember when we were on chat the other day and I was all excited and I got the chips out and they were Cheetos and I put a Cheeto in my mouth and they were like, it was like soft or like it like decompressed before it like crunched. I was like, oh no, disgusting. Like I was not happy about stale chips.
Stale chips are never a good thing.
No. Friends don't let friends eat stale chips, guys. All right, so on that note, that'll do it for this week's episode of the CC Mouse Podcast. You can listen to us every Wednesday on your favorite music app, interact with us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Check out our merch at ccmousepodcast.shop. Woo, that's a mouthful. And right now on the Patreon, we actually have that Funko video on there. You can go check it out and leave me some feedback on there. So we'll see you guys next week. Same mouse time, same mouse podcast. Bye.
Bye. Yay, we did a thing even though I have a cold.